Hello and welcome to the Rock Your Voice podcast. Vocal coaching tips that will transform your voice, interviews that will inspire, industry guidance, and so much more. Without further ado, let's get on with the show. Hello, today's session is geared up pretty specifically towards emerging artists. If you are getting out there and you want to start booking gigs, if you want to start pitching yourself for shows, showcases, all that kind of stuff, the first thing you are going to need is an EPK, an electronic press kit. I'm going to back up a little bit because to do that, you're also going to need a few other things to put in this press kit, such as a bio, artist photos, videos, all of those things. I'm going to go down in a list of things that you're going to need to include in this press kit. And we're going to discuss it from a perspective of an emerging artist versus an established artist. Also, depending, there's also a thing called a one sheet. So these things can kind of cross over. It also depends how much you want to send out, exactly what your EPK is being sent out for. So some people might want to include a ton of stuff in their electronic press kit. That's kind of transitioned over a little bit into things like a Google Drive where all of these things can be found. But again, coming back to the purpose for an emerging artist who wants to be considered for showcases, performances, and events, this is what we're going to talk about. I will touch on the other stuff as we go further down. So your electronic press kit can be created in something like Canva. We literally want a one-page outline of who you are, what you do, and why you're doing it that has links to show whoever you're sending it to why and how you do what you do. So it's really important that you have several of these things. I'm going to try. Okay, I'm a little bit all over the place today because I have been trying to gather EPKs for no less than, I want to say, 6 or 7 artists that I work with who have been working on their EPKs. And this is coming at you right away. I'm not going to even be polite about this. If you have been thinking about putting your EPK together or thinking about updating your EPK and not thinking, oh, I don't need it this week, blah, 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 because today an opportunity came up for not less than 6 or 7 of the artists that I work with and have been working on their EPKs. And very few of them were able to hit reply, send me their finished EPK with everything on it that is required. A lot of people got back to me and were like, oh my gosh, I haven't finished my bio. Oh my gosh, I don't have a live video link. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to make the links active. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to. At which point, my desk nearly got flipped. I was frustrated, to say the least. So I decided I'm going to write a podcast. For those of you who have maybe not done any training with me on artist development stuff, follow along and let's build your EPK. For those of you who have done training with me and have not completed your EPK or have been thinking, I don't need it just yet, I'll get to it next week, and then an epic opportunity arises and you don't have it just yet, sucks to be you. So here we go. First thing you're going to need on your EPK is a short bio. Doesn't have to be, and please, okay, I'm going to do a whole other episode on bios. We don't care when you started singing. We don't care about when you wrote your first song when you were 3. She's been singing since she was 4 years old. Great. Love it. So is everybody else. Let's stick to facts and things that are really going to make you stand out, because so many bios you could just interchange the name and it's the same story for everyone. So things you want in your bio: who you are, obviously, your name, where you are from, so that agents and bookers and people can see, okay, that's going to cost a fortune to get them out here, or that it will be absolutely ridiculous to invite someone from northern Saskatchewan to come and play a 40-minute set in Calgary within the next 2 days, or what have you. So you just want to be state where you're from and be clear about where you're from. So if you're saying Calgary, Alberta, Canada, You want to let people know that you're from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. You don't want to just say Alberta or Calgary, because some people might not exactly know where Calgary is, depending on how far your reach is for this EPK. An EPK is also a very living document. It lives and it breathes with your career. As things develop and evolve, so shall your EPK. So your EPK is a living document. It evolves with you, with your career. Please, please, please make sure if you release a new single or if you update your artist artwork, your album artwork, something massive has just happened. Please don't forget to update your little EPK that's sitting in the corner cheering you on from afar. Go into that document, put those epic new stats, that brilliant new photo, what have you, into your EPK. So yes, your bio, you're going to edit it very clearly. Who you are, where you are from, what you sound like, okay? Artists have a really hard time. Oh, I hate comparing myself to someone. Is it really arrogant to compare myself to the biggest thing at the moment? No, it's not. If you sound like them, compare yourself to them. I'm unique. I'm my own artist. You have to sound like someone. Please tell people what you sound like so that we have a clue about what we're putting on our stages, who we are booking. I need to know your name, where you're from, and that you're a musician does not help me visualize what the show is going to look like that I'm booking for, or whoever is booking for. Okay, so we need to know who you are, where you're from, what you sound like, with some comparisons. I have some notes here. I have to check these notes because I don't want to miss anything out here. Any notable performances. Now, going back to the emerging artist element, if you don't have anything, like maybe you haven't played the Albert Hall yet, that's understandable. But put what is the biggest achievement of your career so far, and don't feel bad if it's not that, people don't all know the local farmers market or whatever, but it's really important that you put whatever is the biggest thing that you've done so far so that we can gauge where you're at in your career. Don't list absolutely everything. That's another trap that emerging artists fall into. Well, I can't list a massive venue or a big tour, so I'm going to put down all of the farmers markets in my province that I've played in the last 6 months. Please don't do that either. Put it all into categories and just make it clear that you're out there performing, you're doing what you're doing, and pick kind of 3 or 4 notable performances. And you can state, if it was like a large crowd, state the number of people in the audience. Again, this is emerging artist territory. The further you get up the ladder, the easier it is to kind of think, okay, this was a notable show, this had a big crowd, you say sold out venue, whatever. Those kind of things are a little bit more easy to pick and choose when you've been doing a lot more. But please don't sort of highlight the fact that you are just starting your journey by saying, oh, I played at XYZ restaurant. Like, we don't need the name of your local restaurant, but you can say have been performing at bars and restaurants or something along those lines that just doesn't imply like my friend Luigi, who owns the local restaurant, booked me for 40 minutes. We want to just be really strategic with how you say that. Luigi's a good guy. All right. Moving on from that, your EPK include facts, not just fun statistics. Like, if you have had sweeping success, what is that? Is that 4 number 1 hits right out the gate? Because that's sweeping success as far as I'm concerned. But like, you can't just say you've had sweeping success and not showcase how. Could have just been in the kitchen last night when you were putting together epic dinner. So yeah, you have to give the facts of what that sweeping success looks like, or whatever this big statement is that you're saying your achievements are. So back those statements up with statistics. You can say first single has been a huge success, and then you can state some streaming numbers. When you say things like a huge success, you have to back that up with the numbers that are hugely successful. So yes, think about those sweeping statements. that all can go in their bio. So there we go. There's your bio. Like I said, that could be a whole podcast episode in itself. There is a ton more stuff for long form bios. But the key for your EPK, for your bio, who you are, where you are from, what you sound like. You can say sort of some influences, maybe notable performances, some facts that back up your success thus far. And that kind of will do it. Moving on from the bio, you want a recent photo, one that showcases your current age, your current hair color, your current style. Perhaps it matches your current release. If you do have a release, it absolutely should match the vibe and the branding of your current release. Don't forget to put a photo credit in there, just a small little photo credit somewhere on the page with your photo. Doesn't have to be a big deal. It just like put it in there, be good. And if you feel really generous, you can link to that photographer's website. You want your links to all of your socials, your Spotify, all of that stuff, which you can do just like a little graphic, the logo of each of these places. So you want your YouTube, your Spotify, your Instagram, maybe your Facebook if you're doing that. But make sure if you are linking them to your EPK that they are active, and we're not going to go back and see a photograph from your 7th birthday party. Actually, you might see that if you go to my Facebook page, but because it's Rocket's birthday party coming up soon, so I've just been posting a lot about birthday parties. Anyways, I digress. So yes, make sure that if you are linking your EPK that it goes to socials that are current, active, relevant, and will showcase you in your very best light. The other thing you want to include, you can include some notable performances if you want to. If you've done some notable performances, please don't, again, list absolutely everything and anything. We're not going back to lead roles in school plays and all of that kind of stuff. You are a professional adult now. We really don't care. I'm feisty today. I'm sorry. But it's true. Like, you might have landed the lead role in your school play and sang your solo impeccably. Does that mean you're going to sell out a venue and have people buying drinks and seats on bums on seats, all of that kind of stuff? Probably not. So really like refine what your notable performances are. And group them into categories if you are an emerging artist, like I said earlier, if it's a ton of restaurants, if it's farmers markets, if it's a lot of sort of local smaller showcases, put them into categories and say, yes, you've been doing all of this stuff, because it's all great. It really, really is. Even your amazing solo in the school play is phenomenal. I cheer you on. Yay, well done. But if you are booking a gig in a bar or a club or a festival, some of these things really are just clutter. So moving on, you are going to absolutely want a link to a live performance. So make sure as you're going through your career, as you're climbing that ladder, make sure you have people filming you every time you hit the stage. Doesn't have to be epic production, but make sure if there's one song that you know you kick ass at when you're on stage, be like, here's my phone, please film this while I do this one song, so that you have something great of you performing live. If you have a willing participant to film this, use your brain and don't scan around an empty dance floor while you're performing. Try and get the shots so the place looks full and active, and like anyone watching that would be like, yeah, I want that in my bar or restaurant or whatever it is. I've seen videos of people on stage just giving it their best, and then whoever's filming scans the room and there's people just, all they care about is either what they're eating, or they're on their phones, or they're doing other things, or it's a really sad empty room and you just see the bar staff in the background wishing they were somewhere else. Just make sure that's not going on in the videos, and moving forward, make sure that you film things that make it look like there's a crowd in front of you. And yeah, do that. Or get them to get really close up to you on the stage and not even care about what is going on in the background. Just showcase that you are doing your best on stage and you sound great, you look great, you are perfect for this role. So yes, really important to have a video of a live performance, because that's what you're being hired for. So it's one thing to have links to recorded audio and produced audio that sounds fantastic. Of course, please feel free to share links to all of that. But polished studio is not the same as live on stage, in a bar, in a restaurant, at a festival. We want to see what we're really getting on that stage. So I keep saying we. I'm not booking anyone today. But whoever may be booking you will want to see what you can do on stage. Outside of that, you might want to include links to some press releases. If you've got some recent press releases, again, showcasing some great stuff. This might be a little bit further up the road again from emerging artist. So again, let's kind of recap. Your short bio, recent photos, a logo. Some artists will have their logo, like you'll see that on their merch or their branding or what have you. If you have a logo, include that somewhere in your EPK. Artwork from your new release. So you might have an artist photo that's the same kind of theme and vibe as your latest release, but you might have a separate sort of single artwork or album cover. Include that somewhere in there with that. And obviously, again, there's kind of a lot of things to include. You don't want it to look completely cluttered and overwhelming. You want the key things to cut through so that people are not wasting time. One question I had today was, should I add a link to a Dropbox account? Personally, Dropbox is my equivalent of hell. Once I open Dropbox, it's like log into this, log into that, remember a password for this, remember, do you have an account? Sorry, your Dropbox is full, you can't go look at other people. It's a nightmare. Dropbox, I hate it. And a lot of times, if there is a lot of competition for a gig or a performance opportunity, if it's a difference between here's an EPK with really clean, click here to see me performing live at blah, 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 or click here to see a live performance, versus click here. Now you have to log into your Dropbox, or now you have to log into something else to go to something else to go to something else. We want it in one place, easy and quick, because the difference is the gig. If there's someone who makes it easy for whoever's booking to look at all of this stuff, they're going to book you. If you're making them jump through all these hoops and all these holes and they haven't heard about you before, might be one thing. If it is, what did I say his name was? Luigi at the restaurant, who already knows you, really wants to book you, and has an extra 20 minutes to noodle around online and click all the links and go to all the things just to check it out. If you have the connections and all that kind of stuff, and your EPK is lazy, maybe that will work. But if it's you versus the person who has a really slick, easy to use EPK, it's going to be them every time. So make sure that you put in that extra 20 minutes of figuring it all out and getting it ready. Like I said, Canva is brilliant. It's so easy to do it on Canva. You can put all the links there. You can download it as a PDF. You can upload it to your website. You can build it as a web page. Now, this is another element worth discussing. Some artists host their EPK on their website. So again, another one-stop shop is their website, and the EPK is there, so they can see everything about you all there. Now, a lot of people prefer you to actually send a PDF EPK, so make sure you have both. So if you've built the website and you've got an EPK on your website, make sure that you have the PDF version as well, because some people prefer one over the other. The other thing is, the further into your career you go, the less likely it is that you want your fans and followers to be able to access the information that is on your EPK. And this is personal choice right from the get-go. If you don't necessarily want your followers to know your biggest achievements and your statistics and all of that kind of stuff, which maybe you don't, you can hide that link in your website. It doesn't have to be a public link. You can have it as, like, say, .com/EPK, and it won't necessarily be available to the public, but having a specific link that you give to people who are booking you or wanting to book you, but it's not necessarily a public link, can take them straight there. Trying to think what else I need to tell you here. There's a lot of things and I'm hammering at it quickly. So yes, but do have a PDF and a website version. Make sure you update both. If they're separate entities, if they're not all updated in one space and then go to the two spaces, make sure that you keep both updated and ready. Okay, what else do you want on there? I'm going to go again from the top. Short bio, photos, logo if you have one, new release artwork, credit your photographers. You can also list shows, tours, or residencies. Again, that's if you're a bit further up and you've done some tours with some notable people. Maybe you've opened for some notable people, or you have, any of that kind of stuff. Industry awards and nominations. This is an interesting one. Again, use your discretion. If you're going to mention that you were nominated, you didn't necessarily win, make sure it's sort of like you were nominated in like the final round. It wasn't just like you were there amongst the 60 people that put their name in the ring. Make sure that you were like a legit nominee when it came down to say the final 3 or what have you. Otherwise, because again, I think, I can't remember if I did an episode on award shows and such. I might have. But if you know that if you are in the first round of voting for many, many awards, it's because you nominated yourself. So not really epic achievement if you didn't make it through to sort of final rounds of ballots and voting and such. The other thing, press or industry quotes. So if someone has said, someone of note has, like, you don't want your grandmother, fantastic show in the living room when she was 3. Gosh, did she give it her all in her ballerina costume? No, those are not the quotes we're looking for. We're looking for quotes from other industry professionals or peers or newspapers, press, what have you, that give you a shining review that you would like to be seen as. And again, short, to the point. If you have some of those, please feel free to include them. And then your link to your live performance, your hidden link on the website. And if you want to, you can kind of go a bit further with your EPK and sort of include other links that go to things like your tech rider, your stage plot, further up the road sort of planning stuff for gigs and shows and stuff. You will probably need all of those things as well moving forward, but right now I just want to look at emerging artist. Okay, here's a sort of mid-level gig opportunity. We want your EPK. What do you need to send them? So to recap, you want your bio, which is going to include who you are, where you are from, what you sound like, and why you're doing what you're doing. Photos, logo. You can also link to a gallery if you have some epic photos that you really have to share, or photos of really amazing shows where you've got a full-on crowd going nuts in front of you on stage. Feel free to link to all of these things. New release artwork. You can list any shows, tours, or residencies of note, any industry awards or nominations of note, press or industry quotes, and of course the key thing, the link to your live performance. And this, again, it doesn't have to be super high quality, but it just has to be there, because people are looking at your EPK to see, who is this person as a live performer? Do I want her on my stage? And if they hear a beautifully produced thing and don't actually get to see you singing, then that's tough. Again, I understand that there will be links to your socials. Your Instagram might be slammed full of amazing live performances, but again, that's adding another link to go to another link. So keep it simple, keep it easy and accessible to whoever is looking to book people, because if you could imagine an opportunity that you really, really want is probably an opportunity that lots of other people really, really want. So it's you against them, and make your EPK really slick, make it cut through, and make it easy for people to choose you. Any questions? Please reach out, because I love the artist development side of things. So if you're an emerging artist, you have no clue how to get the ball rolling with all of this kind of stuff. Because the other thing as well, links to your website. Did I say links to your website? I've talked about an EPK that has a hidden link on your website. You want to have your website up and running too. And on your website, you want your email list. I am digressing. I'm going off on tangents here, but these are things that you really, really need to have. You might feel you're not ready for them yet, but you'll only be ready for them once you have them and you get the better opportunities because you have them. So have them, be ready, so you don't have to get ready like the artists that I was getting frustrated with today in an attempt to try and support them. So I apologize if you're listening and I was flustered this morning. It's because I love you and I want you guys to get these opportunities. And if you aren't ready, you will miss them. So, yes, do the things. Get ready. Be ready so you don't have to get ready. And reach out to me anytime if you need help sort of strategizing your development as an artist, going from I'm a singer to let's book some gigs, let's get me doing the shows I want to do, let's get you applying for festivals, let's get you just doing all the things you want to do that you've been working so hard to get to. Let's do it. You can email me, emma@rocketvocalstudios.com. I will put links in the show notes. And every year in September, I know we're only in April, but every year in September I do kick off my VIP program, which is voice, industry and performance, all combined, where we will look at a 360 approach at supporting you with your artist development. If you'd like to join the wait list, please send me an email. Again, the links will be in the show notes. And always happy to support. Any questions, let me know. Go get your EPK done. And if you want someone to have a look at it, send it over. I'm happy to have a look and give you feedback too. So take care. Good luck. Go get those gigs. Have fun. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe. It helps other listeners just like you discover the show. Also, I'd love you to follow along on social media. It's Rocket Vocal Studios. That's ROCKIT Vocal Studios. If you have any questions at all, I am here for you and your voice. Email me, emma@rocketvocalstudios.com. Would love to chat. If you ever want a session, if you want to nerd out about the voice, I am here for you. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day. We'll see you next time.